Hey Canucks fans, it is Canucks game day, and Elias Pettersson gives a fascinating interview to Friedman and Merrick. I'm Canuck Clay. This is my Canucks take all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Monday, February the 6th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. I have a bunch of quick announcements here before I get into the meat of today's video. So thank you. I have now surpassed 9,800 subscribers. I got from 9,700 to 9,800 very quickly, actually, in the span of a week and a half. So this Thursday, just a week after doing a 9,700 subscriber giveaway, I'll do a 9,800 subscriber giveaway this Thursday night on my live stream. So you look forward to that. Speaking of live streams, I was on Hsmfangirl 3, Kim in the Crease podcast earlier today, talking about Bo Horvat. So if you want to check that out on YouTube, go ahead and do so. Again, that's Hsmfangirl 3, the Kim in the Crease podcast. Donnie and Dolly, thank you, gave a shout out to my mom and her birthday. My mom Joyce celebrated her birthday on the weekend, so they shouted her out on Donnie and Dolly, which was pretty cool. And finally, tonight, I'm on Game Over duties. So on the Steve Dangle Podcast Network, SDPN, I will be hosting a post-game show there. Then I will have my own show tonight at 11 p.m. right here. So I hope you can join me for either or both of those. Okay, let's get into it. First and foremost, the Canucks play their first game since the end of January. So it's been a week and a half, and they're in New Jersey to take on the Devils. I think since Luke Hughes started playing for New Jersey's won 4 of the 5 meetings. So they seem to have our number for whatever reason. And it looks like it's Colin Delia in net. It looks like it's going to be Hughes with Bear, Oil, Shen, and then Stillman Myers as your D. I don't think Dermott and Burrows are playing. I think that's the extra pair. And then up front, newcomer Anthony Beauvillier will get the best spot. He's playing with Petey and Kuzmenko on the top line. Then you have Miller, Garland, and Dakota Joshua on the second line. Besser with the recently recalled Podkolzin with Sheldon Dries on a third line. And then call-ups, Neil Zaman and Phil DiGiuseppe playing with Curtis Lazar on the fourth line. A bit of a surprise to me that Besser is bumped down the third line, but with Podkolzin who I'm sure is going to be very hungry, that could actually turn out to be a decent line as well. But for me, all eyes on Anthony Beauvillier making his debut for the Canucks, playing for the Canucks as his former team, the Islanders, with Bo Horvat, will be playing against the Philadelphia Flyers. Kind of, Kim and I joked about that this morning. Is we're both going to keep an eye on our former Bows, Bo Horvat, Anthony Beauvillier, while watching our own teams play, of course. Give me your score prediction. Give me your first Canucks goal scorer. First game out of the hop. I think that New Jersey is going to win, but I also have a feeling that the Canucks are going to be bolstered by the changes, even though they're losing Horvat, but some new blood. I'm going 4-2 Vancouver for tonight. 4-2 Vancouver, even though the Canucks have a hard time beating the New Jersey Devils. And why not? Let's just say Anthony Beauvillier scores the first goal for the team. So I'm going 4-2 Canucks. Beauvillier, our new Beau, scoring their first goal of the game for the good guys. Let me know your score prediction. Let me know your first Canucks goal scorer down below. Elias Pettersson did an interview with Elliotte Friedman and Jeff Merrick for the 32 Thoughts podcast. A nice 14-minute chat on the beach in Florida. And it was a great interview. I really think PD is becoming more comfortable. And when he's not caught off guard, they didn't rehearse the questions, but when it's less of a media scrum where everything's happening and going so quickly, mile a minute, when it's more of a controlled sit-down type interview, I really think that's where PD shines. And it was really good. He talked about the captaincy and his hopes would he be able to handle the pressure of doing so, learning from Bo Horvat. Talked about the All-Star game, but the two most intriguing things to me were he talked about if he was happy to play in Vancouver, and he talked about his relationship with JT Miller. When it came to being happy, and Elliotte Friedman made a really interesting point in the podcast as he was introducing the interview with Pettersson. He said that with Petey, some of his answers are quite calculated, where he takes a moment or two to pause before he answers. And there's nothing wrong with silence, even though, as youth workers, we're taught there's nothing wrong with silence. I know when we do small groups in youth work, sometimes you ask a question. If no one answers, you think you're failing, and you jump in and you try and break the silence to save the group. Well, PD, they even warned that he did have a few pauses of a second or two, because he's very careful about what he says, and he's very careful that things he says don't get misconstrued. And I'll get to that in a second. So the first question, or one of the questions was, are you happy in Vancouver despite all the noise, all the turmoil around the season? And Petey said, yeah, he's happy, very happy. He loves the city. He loves the fans. And well, on one hand, you might say, well, Clay, what else is he going to say? He's not going to say he's unhappy, but again, it's the way he answered it, and it kind of lines up to everything I've heard and I've witnessed myself, and the fact his agent is talking about already negotiating an extension starting this summer. So I actually, for one, don't worry so much about Petey jumping ship and bolting. Of course, a lot of things can change, but I do believe that he believes he can be the face of the franchise and its cornerstone going forward, i.e. future captain. So that was nice to hear. Very interesting then was Friedman asking, what's your relationship with JT Miller? And, you know, I could have titled this video or made the thumbnail, you know, Miller is a hothead, or PD calls Miller a hothead, but I don't think that's the proper context, and I don't think that's a fair representation. So PD was very calculated in this answer, and he used terms like there's been a lot of speculation, or what else did he say? Yeah, I can't remember. Oh, shoot. I thought about it. There's two things I really want to bring up. But in essence, he said that he respects JT Miller as a teammate, as a hockey player, said he was very skilled. But the first part of his answer, he said he respects him as a teammate. And so he didn't say anything about as a friend or as a man. Not that he has to. And I don't think anyone's going to think that Miller and Petey are best friends off the ice. And then, so there's that piece for sure. Oh, yeah. What Pettersson, this is what I was trying to remember. Pettersson did say that they've had differences on the ice, and maybe that has to do with Miller's kind of emotional reactions. But so Pettersson did acknowledge that they had differences, and then he acknowledged that there was speculation that they didn't like each other. But he did say he respects Miller as a player, that he wants to win so badly, and then he did say that Miller is an emotional player and sometimes hot-headed. He didn't call him a hothead, but he said that he gets hot-headed, which is basically calling him a hothead. But again, I'm not going to call this video or thumbnail hot. Petey calls Miller a hothead because Petey was trying to explain Miller's passion and love for the game. And he's certainly not the first person that I've heard explain JT Miller in this way. I've witnessed it a little bit in my small interactions with him. So it's just kind of one of those things where you've now hit your wagon to Miller, among other players, 7 more years. And you're going to either have to live with it, I guess, learn to live with it, or I don't know what the alternative is, but maybe not. I guess leave the team, but that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is I think Miller is a challenging personality, challenging person to get along with, but you can chalk it up to his emotion and his desire and his passion to win, as opposed to being a bad guy. He's probably not the best guy ever, but I think everyone in that locker room likely would like to have him as a teammate. So I really like what Pettersson said. Respects him as a player, as a teammate, acknowledge that they've had some differences, acknowledge that Miller is emotional, but at the end of the day, it's about having enough camaraderie, having enough chemistry to lead this team to wins. And that's ultimately what Canucks fans will want. Just maybe not so many this year as they wind up the season. So Canucks fans, let me know your thoughts on either of those things, the lineup and your score prediction for tonight, Pettersson's interview with Friedman and Merrick for the 32 Thoughts podcast, or anything else. Kim in the Crease, 9,800 subscribers, happy birthday to my mom. Whatever you want to type in the comments, I will read them. I don't always get a chance to reply, but I do read them. And once again, I thank you for helping me crest the 9,800 subscriber mark. We're well on our way to 10 Clay, hopefully by the end of the season. And maybe at this rate, maybe by the end of March, as opposed to the end of April. Shout out to my sponsors, Van City Experts Real Estate, Perform and Transform, Personal Training, Weight Loss. Thank you, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Justin Credible, legendary Andrew Chang, Hall of Fame and franchise members, and thanks to all of you for supporting me. I always appreciate you. I never take you for granted. Subscribe, like the video, leave a donation, become a member, upgrade your membership, leave a comment down below. Score prediction, first Canucks goal scorer, and your thoughts on Pettersson's comments about JT Miller. Stay safe. Oh yeah, don't forget to join me 7:30ish, 7:45 for Game Over Vancouver on the SDPN channel, and then close to 7:15, 7:30, 7:15. That's what I was thinking. 7:15, and then 11 o'clock right here on my own channel for my own show. Okay, friends, stay safe, stay healthy. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks go.